All right, welcome back, guys. Welcome back. Let's. Why is this not showing? Okay, all right, I know why. Okay. Let's bring Pastor Kingsley to the stage. I saw that Auntie B actually recorded a video. I think about this one. Is this the same one? No, not about this one. The next segment is the one that Auntie B recorded a video about. Stella said, "Blow means you're about to become famous." Stella. My Yoruba is better than yours. My Pidgin is better than yours. Stella. If it's the same Stella, I think we're talking about. I know what blow means. All right. Thank you, Stella. Good to see you, though, Stella. All right. So let's talk about Pastor Kingsley. There's two videos we're going to review today. All right. And so we'll come back to the other video later on. The one that Pastor Kingsley was getting dragged by Queen about. We'll come back to that one. But I wanted to play this one first and then go through a debate. I don't know how long we're gonna be here. I think we'll be here for a minute. But let's play it. Okay, it's very, very important. Equity versus equality debate with Stephanie Chat. I just call her Stephanie Chat. That's the name of the person in the chat that was debating Pastor Kingsley. So let me play this and then we'll talk.
Marriage, there is no equality. You don't actually want equality. What you want is equity. Equality is a demonic spirit in a marriage. Equity is what you want. There's a big difference. Equality means equal, same. We are not same. You say you made a male and what? Female. We are not same. We're different. Different roles, different jobs, different needs. If you want equality, how many women want?
All right, so I think what he said is that we're not same. Even me, myself, sometimes, occasionally, I'm like, okay, maybe I don't have to use the word equal. We're not equal sounds like an attack to people that have experienced lame men in the internet street who uses that to subjugate women. The same thing that those ladies on TikTok were reacting to, that equal thing, right? So over the past 6-7 years, sometimes I'm like, okay, should I change the words? Should I use certain words? Some words are too triggering. I would, just trying to consider, but how many times are we going to be changing words? Okay. So instead I opted in for adding context, let's add some context. Let's get some understanding of what I'm trying to say here. So even to Pastor Kingsley's credit here, Pastor Kingsley is a relationship coach, counselor, pastor. I think he lives in Houston now from the look of things, but yeah, in Nigeria. So I think he's saying not the same. I think if we can't agree to equal, can we agree to the fact that no one is the same? We're all unique in our ways. And the genders are unique. Can we at least agree to that? So we're not the same. Let's keep going.
Equal amount of time to prepare for going out with a man.
Does it take the equal amount of time to go out, to prepare to go out? Okay, nice analogy. But when people are determined, when they've made up their mind to argue with you, you can't tell them nothing.
Any woman here that wants equality, like a man takes 15 minutes to get ready to go out, you two want 15 minutes. Any woman here for that? So you don't want equality. What you want is equity, because you need 3 days.
Okay, so you need 3 days. I can see somebody say, but not all women. Not all women need 3 days. And that's not 3 days. Well, first of all, 3 days is obviously an exaggeration. This is what I mean by it, our social intelligence. Emotional intelligence, right? Being able to read between the lines. This is what I mean. Because language is never going to be perfect to the point that it expresses every little nuances, right? Even if it did, we don't have time to be listening to every small nuances that we need to express or describe. So, but we're finding ourselves in this arguments on the internet, this endless debates on the internet, where when you really pay attention, they're just arguing about semantics, about nothing. As in nothing. So how do you mitigate that? I'll give you this one word right now. In any of this conversation, because we're all learning, right? All of us are learning. In any of these conversations, always ask yourself, what's the objective of the debate or the argument? Or Kini Kota and Trati agreed exactly. I just want you to agree that it is equal. Why? Because when we're equal, it's equal.
To prepare, and if men are ready to give you equity, give you the 3 days. How many women want equal amount of money for shopping between them and a man for going out? Do you know how many items a woman wears?
So at this point, I can see how people are going to be like, well, Dr. Kingsley, you are generalizing. Not all men, not all women. To be honest with you, I've always, when it comes to generalization, I call it out maybe 1 out of 10 times. But for the most part, I think we are all generalizers. So how long are we going to keep policing generalizations, right? But honestly, the level at which people generalize, sometimes you just want to be like, no, stop generalizing. That's crazy. But then why do you feel it's not just that you want to stop the generalization? It's because of, again, a deeper reason. There's a deeper why it's dangerous. Like, why are you generalize? Why are you painting everything or everybody in the gender with a brush? But it's just, as you can see, it's generalizing here, but it's not about the generalization. It's trying to make a point of equity and equality. Let's keep going.
Compared to a man's item, 3 items is all a man needs. His boxers, he doesn't even need singlet. His boxers, his shirt, his trouser. Do you know how many items the woman wears? The earrings, the jewelry, the bracelets, everything. Do you know how mmany items? Do you want equality? So don't let anybody push you to that nonsense. It doesn't apply in a home. A man's haircut, $20. If it's a prime place, maybe $50. For a woman, $50 is the price of Uber to go to where she'll start, where she'll first buy the wig and buy the hair and start the journey. What you want is equity, that we consider your condition and give you what meets your need. You need more time. You need more money to take care of yourself. You need more rest. We don't have to work equally. We don't have to bring equally. That's why 50-50 is a demonic spirit. It's not the spirit of kingdom marriage. It's the spirit of equality, contemporary marriage, 50-50. No, cultural ones.
All right, so here he's saying 50-50 is a demonic spirit, right?
Superiority of men. Contemporary wants equality. Kingdom wants unity.
All right, the goal, objective, is unity between you and your partner. That's the goal. Okay, but it's going to take work to get there. Sometimes you have to listen more. Sometimes your partner has to listen more. But if you don't listen more, if you just hear one line or 2 sentences that triggers you, while your attempt is still unity, you're going to react negatively. You're going to get defensive. So even though your intentions is to find unity in ideologies, in ideas, in understanding, you are literally working against that. So what do? You listen a little bit longer. It's never going to be perfect, but the longer you listen, the better, because at least you understand what you are pouring into. That's all Dr. Kingsley is trying to say. Okay, I would add on to what he said that the person you're dealing with, the person that's asking for equality, the reality is that they want to feel equal, which is fine. They want to feel like the interactions they're having with you is fair. That is valid. Okay, I teach Prestige Family like, no, you have power. Okay, stop looking for fairness, because I want you to operate from a place of power. But it is still real that you want to feel like you don't want to feel like somebody is just there to take advantage of you, at least not in a prolonged manner, right? Not on an extended period of time. But if the goal is to feel equal, it's feelings, unity, where you want to feel like you have equitable interest, or in like everything is fine, right? You need to first of all realize that it's not equal. That's where you start from. You cannot pretend that you're equal, Because if you pretend that you're equal and the other person buys into that idea, then they're going to treat you like you're already equal. That's what he's saying. That's what he's saying. But of course, somebody was not happy with that, because he actually think he did more than enough good with explaining that. But by the time they start talking about it, some Stephanie got into this heated debate, and I'm going to read some of them to you after this. Let me see here. Stella said, depends on the man. My spouse, when he was alive, procrastinated always. Oh, so sad to hear that. We always gave him the wrong time just so we can get to functions on time. See, Pastor don't japa. Yes, japa. All right, so this is the argument that Stephanie was in the chat. She said, yes, sir. When people advocate for equality, they are talking about equality of value. All right, let's keep going. And not equality of person, sameness, because the truth is that many people, especially in Africa, do not believe that men and women are equal in value, which leads to a lot of the misogynistic and abusive behavior and many men perpetuate towards their women and wives. We really need to stop presenting equality as though it is an enemy of kingdom values and pitching it as an opposite of equity. The truth is that before we arrive at equity, we must believe and uphold equality, because nobody treats another human being fairly unless they believe that human being is equal in value to them. Equality, equity, and unity, this is kingdom. Okay, that's what she said. In everything she said, nothing is wrong on the surface value, right? But when you start to thinking deeper a little bit, say, hey, why did she feel the need to push against Pastor Kingsley though? Because I feel like Pastor Kingsley was also coming from the same angle. Okay, let's be careful. Pastor Kingsley is pushing against equality, right? He didn't highlight this, I highlighted it, right? He's highlighting equity. He's saying equality is not what you want. Equity. I'm putting some context to that. That's equity is where you start from. Everybody still want to feel like they're equal. We know human beings are not equal, like the young lady is saying too, right? But at the end of the day, yes, it's a lot of people that treat their spouses like they're not equal. Treat their wife specifically like they're not equal, and they feel that, and they feel like they're being subjugated. And that's not beneficial to men either, because if your woman don't feel as though that your interactions are fair, she's going to show you shiggy eventually, because she's always going to be trying to compensate for that. And what that looks like is that it's going to take a toll on the relationship. And by the time you realize, it's too late. But one said equality first, the other one said equity first. I think equity comes first. Okay, equity is the means to the end, but it also still depends. See, semantics, it still all depends on how you take it, because some people say no, equality now, because if you don't see me as equal now, and well, if I see you as equal right now and I treat you like equal, you're going to be like, wait, you're supposed to be a man, aren't you a man? What kind of man behave this way? That statement is from a woman who does not truly believe that she needs equality. She needs you to be a man. In a romantic relationship, especially, right? Or personal relationship, I should say. More like personal relationships. Everybody's operating in their emotions. And I'm saying, okay, we're all emotional beings. Okay, master that. Now, because of that power, you're able to see that other human beings have emotions, and then you can be patient to navigate what that looks like in real life basketballs. So everybody gets stuck in semantics. I'll tell you why. Because they lose focus of the objective. Why are we making this argument? What is the goal exactly? She did say many men treat. Okay, can we focus on those men, individuals who are maltreating their wives? Some of them are mad. Some of them simply don't know what they're doing. Some of them, they also get entangled on useless semantics based arguments oftentimes. Unity is the goal. Okay, you want a relationship where you complement each other and everybody is happy. And when everybody else is on the internet arguing about the meanings and dictionary meanings of words, you're like, I don't even know, I'm confused at this point. Let me go and rest. Right? Because if they're confused, you're probably going to be confused. So I don't really see, the only reason why is because, again, why are you arguing with the pastor? Anyway, somebody said, Madam, try to learn if you don't know or understand. Stop being adamant to knowledge. Are you the Holy Spirit, or did you write the Bible? Why didn't you pay your bride price? And why can't you impregnate yourself? All of this is stupid ways to push against the argument. The topic of hierarchy in marriage cannot be subjugated. Okay? So the goal of this person making this argument right now is like, it doesn't matter what your feelings are. The truth is the truth. The truth is the truth. We need to tell the truth. There's no need to sugarcoat the truth. Well, good. Now, if a young, impressionable young man's mind listens to this and they can relate and say, yes, I don't know why women always try to manipulate me, and they take this, they go and try to practice it in their relationship. Do you think they're going to achieve your intentions, which is unity? All of us want unity, right? That Oyibo is too much. I know. You can play back and rewind it. So if you are equal with your husband, probably you paid his bride price, then match head to head with him. I don't know why some people seize the truth and try to twist it. I knew that was going to come. Twist it out of selfishness. She made it in our objective. I'm extracting the objective. She said, guess what? She also said the truth is, who is telling the truth? We don't know who is telling the truth. She said the truth is that before we arrive at equity, we must believe and uphold equality, because nobody treats another human being fairly unless they believe that human being is equal in value to them. That's the objective. She just wants to be treated fairly. However, to be treated fairly, the requirement is not to see you equally. The requirement is to see that you're valuable to me. Not see, but we see. The requirement for me to treat you fairly is to feel that you're valuable to my life. See, being valuable, you could be as small as this pink paper, and I would treat you in a way that you consider fairly. Because if this missing piece is out of my life, I can feel it. It's like the part of a car, for example, in terms of value, right? There's some part of a car, when you remove that small thing like this, the car is rendered useless. In terms of size, whatever you want, however you want to measure the sizes, it might not be the same size. You see, everybody's in the eyes of the beholder, right? So the requirement here is value. If somebody doesn't see you as valuable and they start to treat you unfairly, you should ask yourself, how come they don't see me as valuable? If somebody is treating you like they're taking you for granted, ask yourself. It's a question. It's an open-ended question, something that will allow you to self-reflect. How come this person deems it fit that I'm worthy of being taken for granted? That question is the beginning of wisdom. But if you just blanket everybody and you paint everybody the same brush and say it's because they don't see them as equal. Sometimes when you see something as equal, you literally reduce their value in your life. If I see you as equal, I might literally find you of no value to my life. Equality is not the game when it comes to what Dr. Kingsley is talking about. When it comes to the overall society, equality is the goal. Every woman, every citizen must see themselves as just as valuable. There is a difference. There's a difference. So that's going to lead me into the chat. Let me see what the chat is saying so we can move on to the next segment, which is probably the most viral of Dr. Kingsley's talking point here. Toby Antra said the pastor is just trying to fight against that spirit of 50-50, which makes people bitter and angry that the other partner is not doing or giving as much as you can. Yes, that is very, very true, Toby and Tribe. So it's another cookie cutter solution to the wrong problem. I need to feel equal. So any pastor that speaks against that, I will fight them to the ground. Yep, that's what they're trying to do. Let's see here. Another one says, some days you give more, and other days you receive more. That's the reality of every interaction. Even in the business corporate world, we might write 50-50 on paper, 90-10, 60-40, but they always leave room for days that the other person or the other party falls short. Because there's other factors. You can see there are so many other variables that science tries to identify all the variables, but the key word is try. So what do we do to push against that? You make sure that you bring value to the table. What's the table? Make sure you have enough self-value, self-love, self-respect, so you can have enough to pour into other people, even on days that you don't feel like. Why are you doing that? Because you trust that if you just take care of that part, the universe will work in your favor. And anybody who is in your life, who cannot pour into your life in a way that mid to long term, you can feel wholesome, they will self-eject. Okay, they will be removed. Somehow, some way, they'll be removed out of your life because it won't match. It won't be a match. But if you focus on making everybody equal, you lose the battle instantly. Now, at a society level, we focus on equal because that's what we do at an institution level. That's what we're supposed. That's why you create systems. That has nothing to do with when you come to micro level in your family structure, where you have direct interaction with people, where you have direct influence on people, and they are moving mad, and you can relax and say, "Can you elaborate?" Well, you're gaslighting me. I'm sorry, but I need to understand where you're coming from, so I can really think about what we're dealing with. It's awkward. It's an awkward conversation. Well, let me just talk. We talk 50-50. Literally, that's what you guys, yes, I'm generalizing. That's what most of you guys do, and you call it communication. You're trying to do match for match 50-50. Before they finish one line, you jump into it because they triggered you. None of this is easy. It's easier said than done. But the end result of it is what you're looking for. Unity. That's what you're looking for. And if you keep interrupting the process, you will keep staying in that funky funk, and then you keep talking about, oh, it's bad character. Well, who's going to admit that they have bad character? Let's start with you. I don't think so, right? No, Nigeria will touch everyone. I think there is truth in both. Equity in this sense would mean treated fairly, justly. Equality here would refer to having the same rights and opportunities as a human being. Yes, the equality thing really just belongs in society-driven conversations, which I don't think that's what Dr. Kingsley is doing. But you know why some people get triggered to talk about equality when people are talking about marriage? Because I can't give you a good reason. But I think, like I said, I don't want to call any specific terms or terminology because people take an offense to that. I want people to start digging a little bit deeper. Ask more questions. Yes, exactly. Dig a little bit deeper. Ask more questions. When it comes to your personal relationships, and don't just blanket it into terminologies, because when you say submission, somebody's pushing against it. Equality, they call you're dangerous. You say, no, a man is the head of the household, head or headship or leadership. You say, I don't want to hear that thing called leadership. That's not the issue. Can we dig in a little bit deeper? What? Tell me the rest of the story. And then you start to find out that it wasn't about leadership or partnership. Did you know that partnership requires some skill sets to be a good partner? Did you know that to be a good partner, it's not a free ride in the park? That you're required some skills to be a good partner. Yes, it's not a free ride. You don't suddenly become equal because it's partnership. Because there are some partners that will literally take advantage of that same word that you say you want, and they will now make you less than. You've never seen that before, where partners take advantage of the other partner. I think I should leave it at that one. The argument on social media are the reason I log on to your show to hear some talk minus aggression. Thank you, Zara. I appreciate you, Zara. Thank you. All right, so let's move on. Let's move on. We have some other stuff. Hit the like button, share, subscribe. The last one. This is the most viral one because Instablog carry so everybody's talking. So hit the like button, share, subscribe, turn up your notifications. I'll be right back.
It's your love that I've been missing. I miss all your hugs, your touching and kissing. Me love on the floor, the couch in the kitchen. One love enough, we done enough.